What's up? What's up? My name is Nicole McFarland. You are on the Oily Ponderosa, but we are not talking about oily things today. We are going to talk about the current environment, not in the way that you think. So there's like 99 million of you who went out this past weekend, this past week, and says, you know what? All the toilet paper's gone. You might hear my dog in the background. I'm sorry. All the toilet paper's gone. All the food is gone. What's next, right? What happens when all that stuff is gone out of the grocery store? Pandemonium, the apocalypse. So y'all all decided to go out and get a gun. All of you anti-gun, or maybe not anti-gun, just didn't have one, and you thought, you know what, it's time. It's time for me to go get a gun because I have to go protect myself. Well, here at ND Ponderosa, because that's technically what we call our place, I thought, you know what? We're gun enthusiasts here. And I thought, you know what, it's probably time for me to come on here, add a little bit of additional content on my page. Of course, this won't be content that I, continually produce on this page. I might have to make another page if I decide to go ahead and, dive more into building content with firearms. But my husband and I are firearms enthusiasts. I've been around guns all my life. My dad always had guns. He didn't really allow me to shoot them. I didn't get into like shooting sports and training until 2013. So it's been about 7 years that I've been shooting. So I thought, you know what? Let me come on here and just give like super basics for the new shooter, right? Because I'm not an instructor. I am a Glock armor. I've had hundreds of hours of training with handguns, rifles. So I thought, why not come on here and just give a little bit of the information that, I can provide for me. And I'm sorry, like my dogs are freaking out. They're freaking out. But we don't care. This is a gun video, so it doesn't matter. You guys don't care what's going on in the background, do you? Okay, cool. All right, so let's just talk about the fundamentals of firearm safety. First things first, muzzle discipline. Like, never point your gun at anything you don't intend to destroy. Rule number 1, do not point your gun at anything you do not intend to destroy. I don't care if you're passing it to your friend, if you're showing your friend, if you're cleaning your gun, if you're looking at your gun, do not point that barrel at anything you don't intend to destroy. So that means don't look down your barrel because, do you intend to destroy yourself? Do not hand it to your friend with the barrel pointing forward because do you intend to destroy them? You should not be pointing that barrel at anything you do not intend to destroy. Second, keep your finger straight and off the trigger. Like, people use this symbol as an imaginary gun. Well, guess what? In real life, this is your finger off the trigger. It's straight and off the trigger. So just think you're like, pow, pow, pew, pew, with your little, like playing around. Keep your finger straight and off the trigger. That's fundamental number 2. Number 3, make sure you're always have your safety engaged until you intend to shoot your gun. Today we're only talking about handguns. I'm going to do a video next week, probably about rifles. But keep your safety on. I am primarily shoot the Glock platform, so the safeties are in the trigger. There's no mechanical safety on that gun, but there are some guns that have mechanical safety. So I'm going to show you a mechanical safety. This weapon is clear. There is a magazine in it, but it's empty. Okay. So remember what I said? Keep your finger straight and off the trigger. Pow, pow. No, you don't need to touch the trigger. So this gun has a mechanical safety. See that thing flipping up and down? It's ambidextrous. I can't even flip it because I'm right-handed. But it's ambidextrous, and if you see, so if I'm like, finger straight, the hammer is down, but that's your safety on this gun. So it's right here. Ambidextrous means it's on both sides. So that's a safety. Oh, there we go. But if you're holding it, if you're right-handed, you know, you're gonna flip it with your thumb. All right. Okay. And then lastly, keep your gun holstered. So if you're ever on the range, that's going to be one of the rules. This is my Glock 17. This is a holster. For those of you that are new to guns, you need a holster. Let's just say, I don't have a holster. I don't have a holster. I just bought a gun. Don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that thing, but I got one. So this is my carry weapon. This is my tier 1 concealed holster. I have a magazine that goes in here, but I cleared all my guns before I came in here. So that's that tension is pretty tight. But there's no one there in my house. So you hear my dog, she's over there in the living room barking at my mom, because my mom's house is like behind mine. So she's having a party. Anyway, this is my carry. This is my 43. And as you see, this magazine is empty. No round in the chamber. I need to train more with her. Anyway, if you don't have a holster because you like bought a gun and you're like, didn't think about a holster, you can get one of these little guys, which is they're pretty inexpensive because holsters probably run you about 60 to 100 bucks. This little guy I think is like 20 bucks. You want to keep your trigger covered at all times. You don't want to you don't want to throw this in your bag without some type of holster or cover for your trigger guard. And you don't want to keep this in your purse. You don't want to keep it on your dresser. This is important. Sometimes we have dreams in the middle of the night. There are some people who take medications that give them crazy dreams, and they might wake up in the middle of the night. So if you're like somebody who's like, I got a gun, I'll put this on my nightstand, and I'm gonna be prepared if somebody breaks in my house. Please know that if you're, on medications or you have wild dreams, if you just pick up that firearm, and you've got one in the, it's locked in, you got one in the chamber, it's ready to go, and you have a wild dream and you don't have that thing in a holster, there's a potential for you to pick that thing up and just fire it without even knowing what you did. So make sure that your gun is holstered. So let's just talk about the fundamentals of safety again. Muzzle discipline. Do not point that weapon at anything you don't intend to destroy. Finger straight and off the trigger. Make sure your safety's engaged. If you have a mechanical safety, make sure that safety's engaged. If it's a Glock, keep that weapon holstered. That's for everybody, but for your Glocks especially that have for when you're having dreams at night, you wake up and you grab your gun in the middle of the night, you want to make sure that thing is holstered. You want to make sure that trigger guard is covered so that you're not, you don't inadvertently, like I said, wake up from a dream and just, fire that thing off because you imagine that somebody was breaking into your house. Remember, we're in the apocalypse right now. So I don't know how y'all's minds are working, but be cognizant. All right, let's talk a little bit about just platforms in general. So this is, like I said, I have a holster. I'm going to put in the description holster companies that I recommend. This is an older holster, so I've got some other, like the guy who made this for me no longer makes holsters, so this one isn't a name that I would be able to share. There's some other companies that produce quality holsters that I'm going to go ahead and recommend in the description because I've used them, so I can say that they're of value to me. I personally like Techlock. I wear a belt, and this is outside the waistband holster, by the way, but I wear a belt that for the belts that I wear, I like to be able to get it on and off. So I really like the Techlock platform because you can just open it and then snap it on your belt. Again, this is outside the waistband. I train with this type of holster when I'm training, using an instructor. Matter of fact, before I get into the platforms really quick, make sure that you get yourself a med kit. I didn't bring my med kit in here. That was kind of dumb. But make sure you have a med kit. If you don't have a med kit, you're wrong. You should not be around firearms without being able to manage any type of potential injury with a firearm. If you're engaged in a, you know, a fight, which we all pray that we never get into, you need to be able to self treat yourself. If you're on the range and you have an accident, God forbid, which should not happen, but accidents are accidents, you need to be able to treat yourself. Always, 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 always have a med kit. Second, find an instructor in your area. I'm going to put instructors, some instructors in the description. I highlight for fundamentals in the North Texas area. I've got one instructor that I'm going to recommend. There's other schools out here, but I've got one that I started my training with, and I highly believe in his program. But if you like to travel, like my husband and I do, and you want like some like running and gunning and a lot of fun and a lot of, and to learn from other instructors, I've got some that I'm going to recommend in the description as well. Find a reputable instructor. Make sure that instructor is a trusted source. Because people will try and teach you a whole lot of things. And if you don't get your fundamentals right, this conversation is for new firearms holders. If you get an instructor that teaches you bad fundamentals, like, you're kind of screwed, because you're going to take that and carry it with you, you know? So good foundation is super important. All right, holsters. So this is a holster that I have on my Glock 17. This is a full Glock 17s are considered full size Glocks. So the frame and the barrel is longer than some of the other Glocks I'm going to show you, because I'm going to go down my Glocks. I really like Glock because they're just, you can just like beat these things up and they keep going. Sights, rear sight, front sight, rear sight, front sight. So your rear sight is going to have a notch in it, and your front sight, that front sight post, when you're aiming at something, you should see your front sight post in the center of this U-notch in your sights. If you got a Glock, stock Glock, then you've got some shitty sights on there. Congratulations. Yeah, you have to upgrade your guns. But if you don't, whatever, you're going to use your shitty sights. It's the same. There's like a U-notch and a front. They're like polymer sights. So if you don't change them out, whatever. You should, though. You should. But anyway, you're lining up your front sight in the U-notch of your rear sight. That's how you aim. Okay? Don't be aiming all weird and shit. Front sight lines up with the U-notch here. And it should be level, like everything should be level. So this front sight, when you're aiming, should be level with these two rear sight posts. And the front lines up in the U, okay? That's how you aim. So that's how you aim to shoot accurately. You'll have on this gun, I have a light source. So if I'm ever shooting in the dark, I have a light source. There's conspiracies on light sources. It's like, do you really need a light source? Because then you're telling if somebody's trying to attack you, then you're telling them where you're at because you're a light source. Okay, whatever. These are night sights. So these dots glow at night. So I can see them at night. There's conspiracies about that. I shouldn't say conspiracies. There's conflicting opinions about night sights as well, because if somebody's attacking, your attacker can see the illumination of your night sights potentially, just like your attacker could see the illumination of your light if you intend to use it. So again, finger straighten off the trigger. Always make sure your gun is not loaded when you are, having conversations like this. I don't have a magazine in there, but that's just because I didn't put one in there. My other guns have a magazine. Anyway, so this is full size gun. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you. Mag release. I'll show you the mag release on another gun, one of my other guns, so you can see the magazine come out. So Glock platform, light source, upgraded sights. That's all I've done to this gun. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you is on a Glock, the safety is in the, see that moving? That's the safety. So if I depress that, that safety is off. And then I can pull the trigger. So that's the safety on a Glock. That's the first safety. Okay. All right. This is my Glock 19. I have the same, like I told you, I have the same tech lock attachment. I like that. This is an LAG holster. What do they call themselves? Oh, I don't know. LAG Tactical. All right. The reason why I wanted to show you this gun is because I have a light source, but it's smaller. It engages a little bit differently than the one I just showed you. I've got a red dot. Oh, shit. This is my sight, red dot. I've got a red dot on this guy. I've got, I still have my iron sights on here in case this guy goes out, but they're called suppressor height. So that's why this guy's a little bit taller, because he's got to go up. You know, he's dealing with this guy. So the reason I wanted to show you this gun is because of this sight, this optic that I have on here. And, you know, I've zeroed this optic. So zeroing, we're going to talk about that next time that I come on here, when we talk about rifles and the optics that I have on my rifles and how we zero them and stuff, because you have to zero this as well. Whole other language. Y'all ain't zeroing shit right now because you're new to guns. So we'll get into that later. But again, iron sights, if this red dot ever went out on me, then I'm still lining this guy up, front sight into this U notch in the rear of my my rear sight. Okay. And then I told you about the mag release. So you just press the mag release if you have a full grip. It's my magazine's in there. Oh, let me show you guys. It's empty. I checked them before I did this, but I should still show you. All right, because you guys should get in the habit of that. Like, never deal with your guns unless you've checked them. Like, constantly, like, kind of be OCD about it. Anyway, mag release. So you're shooting, mag release, change your mag. Okay, and I'm just pressing this little button right here. Okay. All right, so this is, again, Glock 19. The slide and the barrel are a little bit shorter than the 17. The reason why you want an extended slide and a barrel is just it's better for accuracy. So this Glock 17, which is full size, is going to be more accurate for, especially for new shooters, than this subcompact Glock 19. And these are all 9mm. All right, next, I'm going to show you my, this is my holster from Tier 1 concealed. This is my inside the waistband holster. So those two holsters I showed you before are outside the waistband. I train with those guns. This is my inside the waistband. I also train with this, but this is my carry. I carry this gun every day. And this is the carrying, this is the system that I use. I love it. So this guy bends, it flexes with your body. This is the best holster, inside the waistband holster I've ever had. So I'm gonna put that information in the description as well. So this is my Glock 43. That tension is kind of tight. I'm gonna have to work on that. But when I train with it, it's fine. It's kind of weird. So this is empty. Empty. So let me show you. This will help you. I don't think I can do it this way, but I'll help you release your slide. Tight. Oh God. Anyway, so this is my Glock 43. This is what we call subcompact. So this is for, you know, everyday carry. It's small. The width of it is smaller. And then, like I said, same thing, mag release. But I wanted to show you a smaller platform because this is, you know, a lot of times this is better for women and their hands. I love my Glock 19. Like if the shit hit the fan, I'd be probably running with my 19. Well, I know I would. Shit hit the fan, I'm running with my 19. I can conceal it easily, but this is like everyday conceal. It's hot outside. We're in Texas. It's hot as hell. So this is the small, I've got an extended, I've got a mag extension on here. So this is this is longer than what would typically be on just the, stock um, mag or base plate. So I've got an extension on mine, but this guy's little. I like him for carrying every day. All right, so let's talk about, we talked a little bit about safeties. And I wanted to show you, this is a 9mm 1911 from SIG. And I love this guy. It's got safe. I started my shooting career with SIGs. I had a 226, but when I started training, I just was really tired. They have what they call a decocker. This gun doesn't have a decocker, but it does have a safety. I didn't want to deal with mechanical safeties and decockers and all that. But this has 2 safeties. So it also has this as a safety. If this back strap isn't depressed, then the trigger will not pull. So you've got a safety and this has to, so even if your safety's off and you drop it, you can't, I grabbed it, hold on, sorry. Oh, sorry about that. You can't pull the trigger. But if my hand is on there, then you can. See that? And these guns have a hammer. So the hammer is down. And what happens in firearms in general is that when the hammer, so this is an external hammer, there's internal hammers in the Glock. But when that hammer goes down, then it hits the firing pin and it, actually, you know what? I'm gonna show you. Hold on. So the firing pin goes down and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna talk about ammunition really quick. So this is a full metal jacket. This is ammo, and this is a jacketed hollow point. So you see the difference? This is for self-defense. This is for range, planking, just going on the range and shooting and training, right? Self-defense, jacketed hollow point. See, there's a hollow, it's hollow inside there. The point of this jacketed hollow point is that when you shoot it at a target, it's the energy is exposed to expend inside the target and not escape the target. With a full metal jacket, this projectile can escape your target. And so when you're thinking about self-defense, when you're thinking about, home defense and stuff like that, you have to think about people that are behind the target that you're trying to engage. You don't want to have this ball round go through the target you're trying to engage and hit some innocent person. That's not the intent. That's why self-defense ammo is preferable for self-defense situations. So just know this. I don't know how to show you. Know the difference, okay? Full metal jacket, jacketed hollow point. So I brought these out because I wanted to show you about when I talked about the hammer and it hitting the firing pin, and the firing pin is going to hit this, what the hell? Clearly I've been on here too long. Seriously. I'm laughing at myself because I've literally forgot the name of this. This is so stupid. Anyway, the firing pin will hit and it will ignite a fire inside and it will shoot the projectile out. So it'll shoot the bullet out of the casing. So just that's how they function. So even for you newbies, you have ammo and I don't know why that's not showing. Anyway, you have ammo and it's just sitting around. You're gonna wanna make sure that you're not hitting that because it's going to ignite the, Damn, I'm like losing my mind here. My husband and I were talking about snap caps. So now I can't, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm forgetting what that's called, but it'll come to me while I'm sitting here talking. All right. So this is a revolver. All of our guns are in, except for my 1911. All of our guns, because it's fairly new, so I haven't got a holster for it yet, but all of our guns are in holsters. It stays in my safe. So make sure you're keeping your guns in a safe. All right, so this is a revolver. Some people like these. This is what we call a pea shooter. This is a Smith & Wesson, but it's like a little pea shooter. You can throw it anywhere. And it's got this, is how you can get your thingy out to load it. Revolvers for me are fairly, their trigger pull on a revolver is like 12 pounds. So think about 12 pounds, pulling 12 pounds. So that's how a revolver, that's how revolvers were meant to be. And so the trigger pull is going to be like really hard to pull. See that? I'm like pulling it right now. Oh, see that break? So it's like, it breaks and then it fires. That's why, for new people, I don't always recommend revolvers, but I understand how they might be easier to conceal, or they're easier. They're just, some people just like them because they're so small. When you're shooting a revolver, and with a Glock, your grip is like this. You do not want that with a revolver because of the fire. Once the round is hit, it'll ignite, right? So fire is coming out of there. So you're going to want to make sure that you're on a revolver, that you've got your thumbs out of the way. You don't want them way out here. You don't. So just think about that. If you've got a revolver, you're going to want to make sure that your thumbs are down. I'm going to show you I knew it was going to come to my mind. I'm just crazy. This is called a primer. This primer. Okay. That guy's a primer. I don't know why I forgot, but this should like go on the blooper reel, but I don't edit my videos. So you guys are going to see me looking like a fool for a second. All right, back to my Glock. I wanted to show you the grip. So in my Glock, I'm going to hold my grip like this. And so you see how my thumbs are out? You don't want to do that with a revolver. That's a no-no. Because that fire coming out of there. All right, let's see what else did I have on my list. Make sure you have the right cleaning supplies for your gun. You're going to need cleaning supplies. I mentioned snap caps earlier. Snap caps are just like duds. They're not real bullets at all. They're they're made out of plastic or some kind of metallic material, and you can use them you can load those into your magazine or into your chamber, so that you can continue to cycle and pull the trigger without just throwing your firing pin into nothing. I talked about safeties. Always keep your gun in a holster or in a safe. Keep them away from your children. And then like I said, in the comments or in the description, I'm going to put information for online resources for training. Like there's a lot of really good online resources that I'm going to put in the description for training and information. But then there's also on-site. Right now, since it's the apocalypse and we're kind of like all stuck in our house, I'm going to put online resources. There's so many videos you can watch. I'll put them I'll put a bunch of guys on there because there's some really good resources out there. And for women who are training, there is a Girl and a Gun. It's like a gun club. They might have chapters in your area where you can go shoot with girls. If you want to just stay amongst women, you can go shoot with they host events and like shooting events and stuff like that you can go and learn just with a group of women. And then there's the Well Armed Woman. That's another group. I don't think that they have chapters. I don't recall. A Girl and a Gun and the Well Armed Women is where I initially started to kind of seek out resources for shooting, but I haven't been engaged with them in quite some time. So I don't know what exactly they're doing now, but I'm going to go ahead and list them anyway, because they were great resources for me when I first got started. So remember your fundamentals of firearm safety. Remember them. Always make sure you've got holsters for your gun. You're not thinking about holsters right now. You're probably just thinking about getting a gun, but you need to get a holster. I'm going to list resources in the comments. Cleaning supplies. Make sure you have cleaning supplies for your guns, bore snakes, and whatever type of cleaning oil that you prefer. Med kit. Make sure you've got your med kit. Med kit is like primary. Make sure you've got a quality instructor. Know the difference between ammunition types, full metal jacket and jacketed hollow point. And I think that's it. Make sure you've got a safe or somewhere to safely lock up your firearm. All right, I think I got through this. You guys got a couple bloopers that we're gonna stay in here because, like I said, I don't edit my videos. Like we're just doing this thing. We're talking, and I'm gonna give you what I have. So I think I've said everything. I'm gonna come back though and make sure I talk about rifles, and then I'll probably come back and talk about shotguns. And then if I get a lot of feedback, I can talk about multiple things. Like I always wanted to talk about firearms. Is like that's what I like. My hobby is firearm. Like this is what I do. I train. This is all I do. I run and gun. I love it. That's my hobby. Like we don't do anything else. We work out, we shoot, we do normal people things, but that's it. So I'm more than happy to come back on here and talk about little things. I think this video went kind of long. Wasn't my intent, but it did. So I can always make shorter videos because I'm the type, I like short shit. I don't want to stay on watching somebody talk about, talk through a long video. So again, I will come back and talk about rifles, shotguns, and anything else you guys ask me to talk about. I am not an instructor, so I'm not going to come out here and talk about how to shoot. I can help with that, but I'm not a certified instructor of any kind. This is just my hobby and what my husband and I are enthusiasts of. So you guys have a great quarantine. This is so dumb. Have a great quarantine, and I'll see you back here. Bye.